Summary Overview. Chapter 2, Expounding the Dharma. Section 1, Paragraphs 1 to 14. Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and 80,000 Bodhisattvas ask the Buddha what type of doctrine they should learn in order to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment. The Buddha then teaches them the sutra that is known as the Immeasurable Meanings. Key Messages. Essentially, there are two key points. 1. Perceive all realities as originally empty and tranquil in nature and aspect, without any dualism. 2. Understand the different capacities, natures, and desires of living beings. At that time, Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and 80,000 Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, after having spoken stanzas of praise, spoke to the Buddha, O Bhagavath. We, a multitude of 80,000 Bodhisattvas, now wish to ask questions with regard to the Dharma of Tathagata. We wonder if the Bhagavath will listen to us with empathetic kindness. The Buddha replied to Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and the 80,000 Bodhisattvas, Excellent, excellent. O virtuous men! You have understood the right time to ask questions. As Tathagata will enter parinirvana soon, he wishes to ensure that there will be no doubts whatsoever after his parinirvana. Now is the time to ask any questions you have in mind. Thereafter, Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment and the 80,000 Bodhisattvas immediately asked the Buddha in unison, O Bhagavath. If Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas wish to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment, which doctrine should they practice? Which doctrine is able to cause Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas to accomplish supreme perfect enlightenment quickly? The Buddha said to Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment and the 80,000 Bodhisattvas, O virtuous men! There is one doctrine that is able to cause Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment. If the Bodhisattvas learn this doctrine, then they will be able to accomplish supreme perfect enlightenment quickly. O Bhagavath! What is the name of this doctrine? What are the meanings? How does a Bodhisattva practice the doctrine? The Buddha replied, O virtuous men! This single doctrine is known as the Immeasurable Meanings. If any Bodhisattvas wish to practice and learn the immeasurable meanings, then they should observe and perceive that all realities are originally from the beginning and continue to be empty and tranquil in nature and aspect. There is neither large nor small, neither birth nor death, neither abiding nor moving, neither advancing nor retreating, just like an empty space with no dualism. Nevertheless, living beings make misleading judgment by differentiating between this or that, gain or loss, thereby giving rise to unsavory thoughts that result in a host of evil actions. Transmigrating within the 6 paths of existence, they have undergone numerous pains and bitter suffering without ever being able to escape for immeasurable millions of kalpas. Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, having clearly perceived these, awake hearts of empathy and compassion to save these living beings from afflictions. Once again, they delve deeply into understanding various dharmas. All realities arise in accord with the aspect of the Dharma, all realities abide in accord with the aspect of the Dharma, all realities change in accord with the aspect of the Dharma, and all realities perish in accord with the aspect of the Dharma. Moreover, all realities give rise to unwholesome phenomena in accord with the aspect of the Dharma, all realities also give rise to benevolent phenomena in accord with the aspect of the Dharma, both of which undergo the same process of abiding, changing, and perishing. The Bodhisattvas completely understand them after observing the beginning and ending of these 4 aspects. Once again, they clearly perceive that all realities never abide from one moment to the next, for all realities are constantly arising and perishing. Hence, they perceive the process of arising, abiding, changing, and perishing as the true aspect. Having observed this, they will understand the capacities, natures, and desires of living beings. Because natures and desires are immeasurable, the ways of expounding the Dharma are immeasurable. Because the ways of expounding the Dharma are immeasurable, the meanings are also immeasurable. The immeasurable meanings are born from the one Dharma, and this Dharma is without aspect. What is without aspect does not rely upon any other aspect. Not relying upon any other aspect and being without aspect itself, it is called the true aspect. Abiding upon the true aspect, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas will develop compassion and clear understanding to truly uproot the suffering of living beings. Once sufferings are uprooted, they will continue to expound the Dharma so that all living beings are able to experience joy and happiness. O virtuous men! If Bodhisattvas are able to practice this one doctrine of immeasurable meanings, they will definitely be able to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment. O virtuous men! This profoundly unsurpassed Immeasurable Meanings Sutra of the Great Vehicle is true and valid in principle and word, unrivaled in esteem and honor. It is guarded and protected by Buddhas of the three existences, and no devil minions are able to infiltrate it, nor can it be destroyed by any distorted views of birth and death. O virtuous men! As such, if Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas wish to quickly achieve unsurpassed enlightenment, they should practice and learn this profoundly unsurpassed great vehicle known as the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra. Summary Overview. Chapter 2, Expounding the Dharma. Section 2, Paragraphs 1-4. Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment requests that the Buddha explain different meanings at different stages of his preaching as well as why the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra could result in swift attainment of supreme perfect enlightenment for all living beings. At that time, Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment spoke to the Buddha once more, O Bhagavath! Inconceivable is the preaching of the Bhagavath. Inconceivable are the capacities and natures of living beings. The explanation of the doctrine and emancipation is equally inconceivable. Although we no longer have any doubts with regard to the various doctrines expounded by the Buddha, confusion arises in the hearts of living beings. Hence, we wish to repeat the question. O Bhagavath! Ever since the enlightenment of Tathagata over 40 years ago, you have always expounded various doctrines that contain the meanings of the four aspects, the meaning of suffering, the meaning of emptiness, of impermanence, of non-self, of non-greatness, of non-smallness, of non-birth, of non-death, of no aspect in all realities. The nature and aspect of phenomena is originally empty and tranquil, there is neither coming nor going, neither appearing or disappearing. People who have heard it will obtain the warm Dharma, the pinnacle Dharma, or the world's foremost Dharma, the stage of stream winner, of once-returner, of non-returner, of Arhat, of the path of Prayika Buddha. Once the desire for enlightenment is awakened, they will ascend to the first stage, the second stage, the third stage, and so on until the 10th stage of attainment. How does the meaning of the doctrines that you have expounded differ from those you are expounding now? Why do you say that the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra is a profoundly unsurpassed great vehicle that will surely enable bodhisattvas who practice the sutra to quickly achieve unsurpassed enlightenment? Out of your compassion for all living beings, we entreat the Bhagavath to further illustrate in detail your preaching so that people in present and future existences will be free from the net of doubt when they hear the Dharma. Summary Overview. Chapter 2, Expounding the Dharma. Section 3, Paragraphs 1-20. The Buddha uses the analogy of water, ocean, pond, river, etc., to explain the diversity of living beings in terms of their capacities, natures, and desires. In spite of the nature of water in washing away dirt and grime, an ocean is not the same as a pond, and a pond is not the same as a river. This means that although all living beings have the potential to attain Buddhahood, the rate at which they learn the Buddha's teaching and the results they gain will not be alike. Herein lies the basis and reason for the name of the sutra, the Immeasurable Meanings. Key Messages. Essentially, the Buddha expounded the Dharma using immeasurable expedient methods in response to the innumerable capacities, natures, and desires of living beings. The Buddha, however, does not reveal the ultimate truth of his own enlightenment by using the expedient methods. The ultimate truth is subsequently revealed in Chapter 16, the eternal lifespan of Tathagata, in the Lotus Sutra. Thereafter, the Buddha spoke to Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment, Excellent, excellent. O great, virtuous man! You will receive many benefits for asking Tathagata the sublime meaning of the profoundly unsurpassed great vehicle. Your genuinely profound compassion will uproot afflictions from all living beings and bring peace and joy to heavenly gods and humans. For this reason, you will quickly accomplish the unsurpassed enlightenment and also lead all living beings in present and future existences to attain unsurpassed enlightenment. O virtuous man! For 6 years, I sat under the Bodhi tree at the sanctuary of enlightenment before achieving supreme perfect enlightenment. Through the eyes of a Buddha, I observed and understood that all realities could not be readily explained. Why? Because the natures and desires of living beings are different. As a result of different natures and desires, I expounded the Dharma in a myriad of ways. In order to expound the Dharma in a myriad of ways, I adopted the power of expedient methods. Hence, after more than 40 years of preaching, I have yet to reveal the truth. In essence, because of the disparities of living beings in attaining the way, they have not been able to quickly attain unsurpassed enlightenment. O virtuous man! The Dharma can be likened to water that washes away dirt and grime. Just as a well, a pond, a river, a stream, a brook, a channel, and a great ocean are able to wash away dirt and grime, the Dharma, too, is able to cleanse living beings of any grime of afflictions. O virtuous man! Water has one single nature, but rivers, streams, wells, ponds, brooks, channels, and great oceans vary from each other. The nature of the Dharma is identical, there is no difference in its ability to wash away the dust of suffering, and yet the categories of 3 dharmas, 4 fruits, and 2 ways of enlightenment are not uniform. O virtuous man! Despite the identical ability of water in cleansing, a well is not the same as a pond is not the same as a river or a stream, and a brook or channel is not the same as the ocean. In the same vein, this principle applies to Tathagata, the hero of the world who possesses freedom in preaching. Although his teachings in the early, middle, and later stages are all capable of washing away various plights of living beings, the early teaching is not the same as the middle teaching, nor is the middle teaching the same as the later teaching. Hence, although the early, middle, and later teachings are seemingly identical in terms of words and expressions, their meanings are not alike. O virtuous man! After arising from the king of the tree, I proceeded to Deer Park in Varanasi and turned the Dharma wheel by preaching the 4 noble truths for Ajnata Kondinya and the rest of the 5 ascetics. I explained that all phenomena are originally empty and tranquil, they do not abide because they are constantly in a cycle of birth and death from one moment to the next. In the middle stage, I expounded the 12-linked chain of causation and the 6 paramitas for the sake of a multitude of monks and bodhisattvas dwelling here and other places. By the same token, I explained that all phenomena are originally empty and tranquil, they do not abide because they are constantly in a cycle of birth and death from one moment to the next. Now I am here expounding the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra of the Great Vehicle. I also explain that all phenomena are originally empty and tranquil, they do not abide because they are constantly in a cycle of birth and death from one moment to the next. O virtuous man! This is the reason why the early, middle, and later preachings are identical in terms of words and expressions, but different in meaning. Because the meaning varies, the understanding of living beings is likewise different. Because the understanding varies, the teachings, the fruits, and the ways of enlightenment are likewise different. O virtuous man! In the beginning, I expounded the 4 noble truths for Shravakas. 8 million heavenly gods came down to listen to the Dharma and conceived the desire for enlightenment. In the middle, I expounded broadly the profound teaching of the 12-linked chain of causation for Prayika Buddhas, leading immeasurable living beings to awaken their aspiration for enlightenment or to at least abide in the stage of Shravakas. Subsequently, as I expounded the authentic 12 divisions of the sutras, the Great Wisdom Sutra and the Profound Flower Garland Sutra, and described the innumerable kalpas of practice by bodhisattvas, hundreds of thousands of monks as well as millions of heavenly gods and humans were able to achieve the stage of stream winner, once returner, non-returner, arhat, or Prayika Buddha by abiding in the teaching of causes and conditions. O virtuous man! As such, my teachings are seemingly identical but they vary in terms of meaning. Because the meaning varies, the understanding of living beings is likewise different. Because the understanding varies, the teachings, the fruits, and the ways of enlightenment are likewise different. O virtuous man! Ever since my attainment of the way, from the early preaching until today when I expound the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra of the Great Vehicle, I have never ceased expounding the principle of suffering, emptiness, impermanence, and non-self, as well as the principle of neither true nor false, neither large nor small, and neither original non-arising nor present non-perishing. All realities have no aspect, the natures and aspects of phenomena are neither coming nor going, and they change in accordance to the four aspects of living beings. O virtuous man! As such, none of the Buddhas vary in their word and preaching. They are able to use one voice to respond to the voices of all multitudes and use one body to manifest hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of myriad of immeasurable Ganges' sands of bodies. Each of these bodies, in turn, manifests about hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of myriad asankhya of Ganges' sands of different forms. Each of these forms, in turn, manifests hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of myriad asankhya of Ganges' sands of forms. O virtuous man! The inconceivably profound state of the Buddha is not something that people of the two vehicles are able to grasp, nor can the Bodhisattva abiding in the 10 stages. Only among the Buddhas can this be fully perceived. O virtuous man! Therefore, I have mentioned that this profoundly unsurpassed Immeasurable Meanings Sutra of the Great Vehicle is true and valid in principle and word, unrivaled in esteem and honor. It is guarded and protected by Buddhas of the 3 existences, and no devil minions are able to infiltrate it, nor can it be destroyed by any distorted views of birth and death. As such, if bodhisattvas mahasattvas wish to quickly achieve unsurpassed enlightenment, they should practice and learn this profoundly unsurpassed great vehicle known as the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra. After the Buddha had finished speaking, trichiliocosm trembled in 6 different ways, a cornucopia of flowers were rained down spontaneously from the sky, heavenly Upal flowers, Padma flowers, Kumuda flowers, and Pundarika flowers. A variety of countless heavenly incense, heavenly robes, heavenly necklaces, and priceless heavenly jewels spiraled down from the sky to give offerings to the Buddha, bodhisattvas, and shravakas. Heavenly bowls and vessels from the heavenly kitchens overflowed with hundreds of flavorful heavenly delicacies. Heavenly banners, heavenly streamers, heavenly canopies, and delightful heavenly musical instruments were in place to perform a heavenly musical orchestra in praise of the Buddha. Moreover, innumerable Ganges' sands of Buddha worlds in the eastern region trembled in 6 different ways. Heavenly flowers, heavenly incense, heavenly robes, heavenly necklaces, and priceless heavenly jewels also rained down. Heavenly bowls and vessels from the heavenly kitchens overflowed with hundreds of flavorful heavenly delicacies. Heavenly banners, heavenly streamers, heavenly canopies, and delightful heavenly musical instruments were in place to perform a heavenly musical orchestra in praise of the Buddha, bodhisattvas, and a multitude of shravakas. The same occurred in the southern, western, and northern regions, the 4 intermediate quarters, and the zenith and nadir. Thereafter, 32,000 bodhisattvas mahasattvas received the samadhi of immeasurable meanings, 34,000 bodhisattvas mahasattvas received immeasurable methods of learnings. All of them were able to turn the irreversible Dharma wheel of all Buddhas in the 3 existences. When the monks, nuns, lay male disciples, lay female disciples, heavenly gods, dragons, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, maharagas, great kings of will turning, minor kings of will turning, kings of the golden wheel, silver wheel, and other types of wheels, kings, princes, ministers, citizens, gentlemen, and ladies, as well as great elders, together with hundreds of thousands of millions of followers heard the Buddha expound the sutra, they received the warm Dharma, the pinnacle Dharma, or the world's foremost Dharma, the stage of stream winner, of once returner, of non-returner, of arhat, or the path of Prayika Buddha. Some received the assurance of non-rebirth of a bodhisattva, some received 1 dharni, some 2 dharnis, some 3 dharnis, some 4 dharnis, some 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 dharnis. Some received hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of dharnis. Some received immeasurable asamkhya, Ganges' sands of their knees. All of them were able to irreversibly turn the Dharma wheel and to awaken to the desire for supreme perfect enlightenment.